All right, good morning. Rolling here. All right, nothing happening. That's what we've been talking about all week. Nothing much happening. Waiting for this news. I suppose tomorrow, whatever news just came out, you can see there was a little blip to the downside and just stopped on support. So sellers are not aggressive, and could be another day of waiting. Beginning of the week, we talked about the continuation pattern on the weekly chart. Let me flip this over to a weekly, which, depending on what you look at, hasn't followed through, meaning it didn't trade under last week's low. So still waiting there. You can see inside week, small range. We wait. Whether this can flip back up, and I don't know. I'm more along the lines of thinking even if it flips up, it could be a fake out because I don't think anything of significant is going to change. And if it flips up, maybe we get a topping tail pattern, or a continuation pattern here. At the beginning of the week, one of the concepts that I talked about was, okay, now it's at support. We've got this continuation pattern on the weekly chart. Because this is here, can this flip back up green bar and have a 3-bar reversal here within this downtrend on the weekly? Or does it just go sideways for a few days and then build up the support area like what it's doing here and then break to the downside? So we wait. There's really not much to do. Upside cap by buyers of VIX ahead of CPI. Really? Buyers of VIX? Maybe just nobody wants to buy. Well, they keep selling. VIX has been out of whack all year, meaning plenty of times markets went down and it really didn't go up. Now it's at the top of the trading range. You can see on the weekly chart here. So each time it's backed off, which would lead us to believe if this rolls back down, the markets will go back up, or is this that moment in time that it breaks out of this range and the market tanks back down to where we really want it to go, which is down here where my alert is, which hopefully is calling that we get that continuation pattern lower, down to where the support is. So we wait. There's not much going on. Let's look other places. It's kind of just grinding. This did have the continuation break lower, and this is already down to that same area of the S&P from 2020, and it's got room to drop, a lot of room to drop. Doesn't mean it'll go down there. Right? The S&P 500 could go down to that level, and then that begins to stabilize. And of course, with tech and semiconductors and so on, does this keep going? Does it break out? Waiting for the news. Does it break out, or does it retest and reverse back down? Last week we had this little continuation pattern after a run. Nothing much happening. The 30-year popped up. That's interesting that started going higher on its own. I don't know what to say about that, but it did. The 30-year. So what it tells us is that the 30-year bond is being sold more aggressively. And that's why this is going up, because it moves opposite. So as you can see, this is broken down below the low. And where, the 10-year is just hanging there, saying rates will be higher longer. I suppose, but let's get a move on here. The yields in this don't always line up, but well, I guess you know what? We really don't have much to think differently other than look, the momentum slowing down, meaning the this decline, or the advance here, the 3-month. Oh my God, look at that this morning. I'm kind of a little in awe that the market isn't dropping with that going up like that, because basically, it says they're going to raise 3/4. There's no doubt. I don't know why anybody doubts it, but with this moving up like that, no, I don't think so, Thane. Remember, this is catching up with some interest rates. That short-term Fed funds rate or whatever is catching up whatever's trading overnight. So that's moving up, and it's got room. I guess this is a bad tick. I don't know, but it's getting to 4%, and you know what? As this is going up, and the 30-year is going up, it's interesting that, because as if only these two are moving up, because this is not inverted yet. It's still 400 basis points before that happens. So one of the things that that's happened different this year as opposed to past, and why I believe as I look at it, so I think to myself, why are many economists saying there's still this uncertainty about a recession? And so it's not about that, they look at things that might be slowing down. Things are slowing down, but is it a recession yet? Even though you get multiple quarters of negative GDP. But what's different this time is if you look at yield curves, while shorter yield curves, even like the 3 minus the 10-year, or the 5 minus the 10-year, these are inverted. The 30-year versus the 3-week, which often the shorters got inverted first, but in years prior, for decades, you would get the 3-month moving over that of the 30-year in pretty much in lockstep, and you can still see that it's not inverted. And so looking at any of these, right, that as fast as this has gone up because of inflation, these have gone up, whereas all for, I guess, the last 40 years, right, you didn't have this inflation, and where these, the 5, 10, 30 didn't advance as fast as they in the past, as fast as they are to now. So this has, going historical measures, has not inverted yet, where the 3-month has gotten above these others. So that's one of the reasons that I see that being the case. Nonetheless, we see high interest rates where they are, making money more expensive to borrow, and higher prices for goods and services, and the stock market going down and all that. And so, It's a little different this time. Same price patterns we've been talking about all week, boring, Qs breaking down. Of course, the 3 month popping up like that. Tech has to go lower, and we see, semiconductors going lower and getting pounded. And, one of the takeaways of this is, what's the bright side of it? Well, you see how tight this correlation is between interest rates and technology. And at some point, interest rates are going to slow down their advance or start to move lower. And, just to make the point, and I'm not saying it will be like shooting fish in a barrel, but the 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 correlation between the two are so tight right now that when it begins to turn, and technology being the leader that they are, as markets begin to turn around, there should be tremendous opportunities in tech stocks, and they're getting beat up badly. So as interest rates do at some point flatten out and start to pull in a little bit, technology should be a huge opportunity. All right. I am, just hanging here. Nothing's going on. The dollar, surprised that isn't popping higher with the 3 month going up. Silver down. I don't know what got this move. I guess just the dollar stabilized a bit. But when you've got short-term interest rates rising as they were, and the dollar going up like that, I mean, this just isn't the place to be. Precious metals, they're just not going to do well. What's up with that? Yeah. Oil coming in. I talked about that yesterday. Gold just hanging here. There's just not much going on. So news coming tomorrow, and we'll all be waiting for that to get markets moving again, because not much happening here. So don't get chopped up. I mean, some intraday moves, which it typically always is, but things just aren't moving enough to create swing trading opportunities. And Dan's been kind of quiet on the spreads too. Maybe just no premium there. So anyway, that's it for me. SOA trading just for the sake of it. 43.90. Let me look at that. Yeah, 43.90 should be fine. Just looking at getting below 3,500, 30. Nothing to break here, and so just with the idea that nothing's going to break significantly until tomorrow. Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, I was just answering that question.
Good morning. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot here either. We've been waiting for a potent turn to get bullish. And then it could have been yesterday had we held the gains and then broke out after 3 p.m. and then we had that afternoon collapse. And then with the gap up this morning, I was thinking 30-minute high could have been it. And then PPI came out, gave it all up. So yeah, we got Fed minutes today, which I personally don't think it's a big market mover, although it might. We'll see. And then PPI, yeah. So I think they're waiting too. Dollar Tree here. It's been on my watch list for a while, still holding well. Myrna's rocking. They had some type of news. I posted this as a 30-minute high put spread, but now it's getting too extended. So I think instead we're gonna have to watch a pullback on that pattern. If it holds, then we can go out to next week. I'm comfortable with. VNTX is a cousin, not nearly as good. You know, over yesterday's high. Could be a put spread. It's a retest red bar ignored. TIPCO, I just saw rallying here, coming out of the coma. So I'll put that in a window. That's a big old breakout gap. HPCO. And base drug with Keytruda combo. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care about what the news was myself. Yeah, Pepsi had earnings. Remember somebody asked me yesterday about doing a call spread on this? I'm like, the pattern looks totally fine, but was it worth 33 cents to get some crazy gap up? So I don't know, it's gapping a resistance, but it's a bullish gap. So McGraw wants to look at the cousin, which is the right thing to do. That's still in a nasty downtrend. Wow. So McGraw just set an alert at, you know, 55, 10 or 20 or whatever, and we'll see what it looks like in 30 minutes. But that's fighting unless you get a closing beautiful reversal bar. Look at that. It started with an igniting. Here's a failed breakout, range expansion. Here's a failed breakout, range expansion. That is getting dumped. Joby, we looked at yesterday. This is a flying helicopter company. I mean, flying airplane that has vertical takeoff like a helicopter. And Delta Airlines is investing a lot of money in them, and so that kind of popped yesterday. We'll see how that plays out. This is gapping too big, but it was actually a buy setup at the 20 with a railroad track 20 and 50. That's relative strength. You know, I've been pointing out charts that have nice moving averages showing relative strength. And also talking about relative strength with the pullback that we're getting in the market. Anything that's pulling back and reversing above the prior low and they had a deep retracement like GE is relative strength. So even though this is in a downtrend, I like this greater than 100% retracement, and now we got a buy setup. So if this takes out yesterday's high, then, you know, hopefully the market will also be wanting to turn, and we'll consider that as a put spread. Look at MU yesterday, identical concept, deep retracement. See, this is a potent turn. That's a gap, range expansion, engulfing bar. So that's a beautiful turn. And, you know, back to the broader markets, I've been saying the last 2-3 days, we have no turn yet. And that's why yesterday was like I don't know if that was a record of, we gave 0 new trades in the advisory letter and weekly options trader. That's like unheard of. But I didn't see anything compelling. I would have if we closed strong, but as you can see here, we didn't. I just said, do y'all remember we did that little day trade yesterday? Let's see, what was the high? Look at this, 358. Is that? I forget if I said target 358 or 359. I forget. Dino thing. Yeah. It's in an uptrend, 2050. Yeah, I'll watch it. Sure. Just set an alarm at 55. I like setting alarms early. I mean, it didn't come in perfect, but it's, you know, we aren't going to find perfection in the environment right now. Raul on YouTube asking about CRI short. I don't know yet. I need more information. Yesterday, I would have said yes under Monday's low. But now, and you got a topping tail. I need more information. I surely wouldn't do it under yesterday's low or Monday's low, because if it traveled under Monday's low now, it's going to be extended intraday, as you can see here in the 15-minute chart. And that was a power move up. So that similar to MU and GE, I would be looking for a controlled pullback in higher low. Yeah, I got Konobi right here. It sure looks like a buyout the way it's going horizontal. VXX. You know what? Let me show you this real quick. This is now we don't trade off this, but this is and you can monitor this on your own. It's a cool little website called VIX Central. And what this does is it shows the spot VIX, VIX, right? So that's spot 3409. And then it's showing you the futures, the every month future contract of where the futures market is expecting it to close. And the majority of the time, like, I don't know, 85, 90% of the time, this curve is going up, because it's similar to like buying insurance or for your house. If you're going to buy a 1-year policy, it's going to cost more than a 6-month policy, because the unknown in the future, you got to pay for that risk. But when the futures market spikes because of market fear or, you know, presidential election, unknown events, and so forth, then it prices in a contracting volatility, and that's what this is in right now. So it's called backwardation. Contango is when future months are higher, which causes the drag on volatility products. So anyway, that's just something interesting. I don't trade off this. I trade off the pattern of the instrument that I'm wanting to short, which is the VXX. Yeah, VIX. So McGraw's agreeing. You know, VIX. We sell VIX when we're in backwardation. McGraw. That's this whole thing I'm getting at here. We don't do it blindly off that chart. I know I'm explaining to other people. You're a veteran. I know. You don't just say, "Oh, we're in backwardation, let's sell," because then you're, without a bias of what the broader market's doing, you're stepping in front of a train blindfolded. So here's VXX, which is the ETF for the VIX. And so this fund manager has to buy those futures in order to give you an ETF to trade. And, you know, that's how it all works. So yeah, it's up 4 bars with the market sell-off. You know, it's up near some resistance. But weekly chart, you know, it's a bottoming pattern. So I don't know yet. We don't short this unless we get a potent reversal in the spiders. So that's kind of the you know, the long takeaway here also. I need a reversal, and then that VIX will start coming in. Right now, it might be resting for a swan dive. If we get a bearish thing tomorrow, we have another kind of boring inside day, whatever today, Tomorrow could be a swan dive where the VIX rallies more. We get the internals and more bullish alignment. We make lower lows. We get short-term capitulation. So that's all. All right, thanks, Rocco. Yeah, I purposely spent a couple extra minutes there, particularly since earnings season is not upon us, so I don't have a whole lot. And this is a ripe discussion. RIPEs. It's a good discussion right now. All right, MP short. Not bad. Maybe just yeah. Yesterday's low is fine. You got a price void. Sell set up with square top. It's a power move, so I wouldn't expect a new low. FBP, McGraw brought this to my attention. It's just going sideways at resistance. Let it, the watch. CCJ is not having a good day at all. That has to be news. We'll come back to it. Charlie Echo. I was watching this as if it can take out yesterday's high, then it's a possible retest double bottom. Allstate is relative strength. Look at that. Look at that, top of the range. Look at all the three moving averages up. That's a long watch when we get our turn in the market. Dorm, big bottoming pattern. Well, an uptrend, Logan, is higher highs, higher lows. So we just call it a breakout of a bottoming pattern, but it has to prove itself to be an uptrend. But yeah, it's a bottoming pattern. All right, there's the GE. I found this because the news said they're spinning off a healthcare company, but now it's gapping down. So I seriously doubt it's going to take out yesterday's high. There's the Pepsi earnings. Triple R, someone in the green room mentioned this yesterday. It's a little kind of bull flag here after a W bottom. So that looks like a good day trade. 30-minute high once we get a better bias of the horsemen, which are falling right now. So I love having long and short watch items. And so I got GE on the other chart. Let's put the red roof in down here, bottom right. But yeah, that's a definite day trade, 30-minute high long. I like that. AMT's a Climo, but there is no reversal yet. MU. If it closes like this, it's a 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and set an alarm right now at 54. Then you don't got to worry about it. It's either going to go off or not. I already have one at 53.90. All right, so that's a good alarm. All right, look, spiders, they cannot reverse and hold it. Yes, yesterday was the best attempt to reverse intraday, as you can see by the tail, because it went deep into Monday's range. And now topping tail, and now we're under yesterday's close and gave up pre-market strength, and we're still bearish here. Argo, we found this one yesterday, a little bottoming pattern. Fizz. Fizz. I had a buy stop order yesterday. So this very light volume. This 30-minute high, if you don't mind the light volume. I got Myrna in the other chart, so I'll put Fizz here. Now that's a beautiful bottoming pattern. You had a Climo, another new low, higher low retest, 20 MA flattening out, and a monster price void. Beautiful bottoming pattern. I wish it was just more liquid. All right, Myrna. I'm just gonna look, see how jacked those premiums are now. Let's see if there's Friday, the 124s. So spready 77 by 124. Going out to next week. Next week. Wow, McGraw, the 115s, if you don't mind doing them naked. 110 by 120. That's pretty juicy. I mean, then let's watch this for a few minutes. I know it's a big gap, but that's all right. Now they just dropped it to 91 cents. So there was now it's 87. See, there was a bid. You had to like, the stock's going nowhere and they're dropping the bid. So that very well could have been a quick draw McGraw play. That's all right. We'll watch it. We're in stalking mode. ANET. It's a bear 1, 2, 3. I'd say 30-minute low. Just give me more time to make sure it's not going to bounce and that the market's not going to do something stupid and reverse to the upside. But it's a 1, 2, 3. It's not. I prefer 1, 2, 3s from consolidation, and this is after multiple bars down. So I don't know about a swing trade, but day trade 30-minute lows. Okay. Now Boeing, that was a false breakout. It was showing strength. It's HIPCO, little bottoming pattern. Micron, I got my alarm. Guild. That's gold, my bad. Guild. I said yesterday, this will be a fantastic 1, 2, 3 if it closes like this. Start